All right, how you doing? This is George with Truck Driver Nation. Now, I'm going to give you my information, contact information first, because it's just the best way to do this. So go to our website, truckdrivernation.com, call us 210-343-1118. That's 318. Or you can get a hold of us through email at support@truckdrivernation.com. So I just kind of woke up, so I'm still trying to wake up and drinking coffee, literally to get my head out of my ass. But this is going to be what we're actually doing now, which we've been doing it. I shouldn't have said that, but I think a lot of people have the misconception about, okay, I'm a freight dispatcher because I dispatch my trucks, and what do I have to offer you? This is the one point that I'm leaving all by itself, and I'm explaining why I do this because people want me to only dispatch your trucks. I work with other people because I outsource. They all speak English. They already work for me. They do either do data entry or they help with recruiting. But the ones that I pull that are doing dispatch, including myself, are only doing freight dispatcher. You'll only have one dispatcher that you're talking to. For example, if it's me, you'll be talking to me. But I put three dispatchers for, like, say, a normal dispatcher does one truck. Okay. He might have six trucks or he might have 10 trucks. I don't go more than seven trucks. That's the group. Okay. That's a good medium. For each group of trucks, there's three dispatchers on those trucks. Depending on your route, depending on what we're doing, and as we do it, and that's the reason my drivers stay with me is because they get the absolute best. That's what you're paying us for. I don't have to pay my other people their own salaries. So I no one have to pay them because they're outsourced. And a lot of them were actually already dispatchers for 5, 7, 12 years before they started working with me. So I do three dispatchers for every seven trucks. That ensures three things. One, we're looking at the load boards. I got somebody, that's all they're doing, looking at all the load boards that we use. Other person is just calling direct shippers for you if you're needing it. Because remember, I got seven trucks. So here they're covering all seven trucks for direct shippers. And then the third one is doing a combination of those and assisting you. So, like for me, if I'm dispatching you, I'll be the one talking to you and assisting you and looking on either board. But I've got them looking as well because I send them the message. I need a truck. I need a load from point A to point B. It's gonna, what kind of equipment you got, what it can't go under, because I have my profiles about your truck already set up. Now, at this point, all my people are already trained up that work with me. Okay. That being said, I don't have to send it because they have access to everything I have access to. And as they find the loads, we're actually all in one group. So as we speak about what we're doing, I know I can see what's popping up, who found what. Okay. Um, so that's the whole point. So I want to go over this real quick. If this is interest to you, the whole point behind it is there is no choice. You have to do it this way these days. I don't tell people when I guess every time, just in general conversation, because they're not going to get it. Unless you're actually in logistics, it's just not going to make sense why we're doing three dispatchers, which is a hell of a lot of man hours, even at 40 hours a week. That's 120 hours of man hours you got on you for every week to dispatch your truck and keep you moving. So, anyways, as you know, I'm Truck Driver Nation, and this is obviously what I'm want to talk to you is about this major shift. So I've got a script and I have to read off of it so I don't skip crap and then I have to come back and explain. Now, obviously, if you have questions or concerns, please let me know. We'll go over them. So, like I said, we keep three dispatchers for every seven trucks. I don't exceed that. Because when you're looking at this, because of the industry, it has changed. One of the biggest problem is holding carriers back from real growth and consistent profits. That's one of the reasons we did it, because the market's tough and we need you to grow. Because if you get more trucks, like I tell people, we get you your drivers for free because we do driver recruitment. And if we're going to be recruiting, we're going to be dispatching for that truck. So that's where we make our money. We don't make our money off the front end by saying, here's a driver, they went to orientation, now you owe us dollars. We actually make our money off the dispatching. That's the reason I push so hard to ensure that you're going to be satisfied and that truck's profitable, even more profitable than what you've been doing on your own. Now, obviously, we don't believe in a standard, right? We believe in strategy. And that's the whole point. I'm always strategizing. And that's why we provide three dispatchers for every seven trucks. So to break down this model, what I'm going to do is how it benefits you and why this is obviously a game changer for you as an owner operator. One, you get focused attention and you get better loads. When a dispatcher is stretched too thin, they're not really focused on your truck. They got other trucks, okay? And that's just too stretched out mentally because being a dispatcher, unless you're really organized, it's not so demanding that they can't do that, but it's a demanding enough that they're not getting the money to where it needs to be. Okay. Um, they're multitasking across, multiple drivers, multiple brokers. They're watching emails. They're looking for updates on status on people they've reached out to. They're dealing with the paperwork itself, even if they have a TMS, and the mistakes do happen. And obviously out of that, good loads get missed if they're not posting the truck's availability or responding to the notifications for the profile that we put in there for your truck when brokers are reaching out to us. Sorry, I'm staggering. I'm just not awake. You just got to give me a minute. Now, what this does, I don't know if you can see it, but in the essence of it, this obviously makes it where dispatchers really, to some degree, it's not that they have fewer trucks, but it's the management. It gives them time and the competition between each other for looking for the better paying loads. They lets us allow to negotiate stronger rates because we're finding more freight for that one truck out of the 7 trucks that the 3 dispatchers are on. And then they have time to build real relationships with the brokers. So you can get priority lanes and then repeated loads. And they're not just on and off the phone. I need this load. This is the rate. Send me the rate con and moving it like that. That's not good. If you can slow the rhythm down and build an actual, not saying friendship, but a professional association with that particular broker, then it does build a lot more trustworthiness and they can understand that you're concerned about the freight, which that's what they want because they don't want to have problems with that freight neither because that's their direct shipper. And for our direct shippers, when the broker's dealing with, when our dispatcher's dealing with them, because remember, we have a broker license. I don't want to hear no crap from nobody. We actually have a broker's license. So don't test the cream. You'll sink under it. But anyways, that being said, then they can actually deal with those direct shippers and it don't cause me no problems because we're not just making a quick fix. That if we need to do follow-up meetings and stuff like that, we have the manpower. Yeah, and when it comes to doing direct shippers, I let the guys actually make contact, set up the meetings, but obviously I close them because I need to ensure that there's complete transparency on both sides, the contracts are done right, and all that good stuff that we're agreeing to move their freight. Now, real-time communication and load planning, when you don't want to wait an hour for your dispatcher to call you back while you're sitting empty on the shoulder, like say if you got a breakdown or whatever, man, that's lost money. Or if you're waiting for a load or you're waiting for whatever it is where you're sitting, it's wasted money, wasted time. I can't get time back in trucking, That was always my biggest thing. I'm sending out a message to the damn dispatcher and I'm not hearing nothing back from him. So I'm like, dude, I'm sitting in this truck, let's say I'm sitting in a truck and I'm watching a movie. I'm not focused on that movie. I'm focused on why I'm not moving. And that's very bothersome. So this dispatching model where I'm giving you 3 dispatchers, it doesn't charge you no more than your percentage, by the way. Let's not confuse it. The rate that we agree on, that's it. But you just got 3 dispatchers. And they're all working for you. You got 1 disappointed communication and the other 2 that are there. Now, if one of the other 2 call you, remember, they are on the same mindset as the other dispatchers, so there's no lapse in understanding. We're all on the same TMS, Transportation Management System. Any notes and everything can be seen exactly what it's saying. We're grouped in, okay? So anyways, obviously with 3 dispatchers, you get a lot faster response times. Someone's always available to communicate with you and with the brokers on your behalf. Let's say loads are planned ahead of time, not last minute ones. Okay, just call me when you're empty and we'll find you something. I don't like that. I never liked it. This fixes that problem. Your clock, your hours of service, and your preferred lanes are also a lot better in consideration. Always consider the lanes because that lets us know where we can start building direct shippers. So all that's going to be understand when we do actually do the driver profile that's to you. I got a cold. My sinuses are killing me kind of thing. So you got to just excuse me. Now, bottom line, you stay loaded and you stay on time and you're profitable because we're watching you as well. So we see if you're having problems most time before you realize that, we're watching, um, because we're concerned. We have three. If you understood what three dispatchers, how that makes a game changer, you'd appreciate what I'm saying. It's not that we're trying to babysit you. We're trying to make sure that we are providing you everything. You're in that truck, sitting behind that steering wheel with that left door closed, and you are cruising down that road and everything's an obstacle. You've got to be defensive driver, dealing with the police as DOT crap and all the things, you can easily give us a call. We've got you covered so much better. Because it's not like all 7 trucks are calling us, by the way. That's the best thing. So we're able to concentrate on each truck, who's where and what they're fixing to need based on their trailer and all that. But like I said, I do all step decks. Now I do have other dispatchers that actually do dry van, reefer, and flatbed. So don't confuse that. Most time when I'm talking about a dispatcher, I'm talking about me because my team, I know what we concentrate on. Everybody else kind of does. It's not they do their own thing. I'm monitoring them. I don't let nobody. I've learned a long time ago. If you want a ditch dug straight, you got to literally stand there and watch them dig the ditch. It's just there ain't no way around it. So I watch everybody, and I've got them all on one board, and I can see who's doing what, when they post your load for your given truck, how much it was, where it's from, and I know if it's right or wrong. So specialization, which means smoother operations when it comes to doing this. Each of our dispatchers have a specific role. So we either do, basically, it's kind of like they're either doing load planning where they're searching out and pre-booking the highest paying freight that fits your preferences. Broker communication to handle all negotiations, rate confirmation, and broker follow-ups. And driver coordination. It stays in direct contact with you, handling updates, check calls, which are not really necessary these days, ETAs, delays, and support, whether it's parts and services or whatever you need on the support side. So you can see, and this is mainly what we do day to day just to keep you moving instead of being one person worrying about all this stuff for 7 trucks. So you got 3 people in that team, which stay totally focused on those 7 trucks. They don't get no side tasks. They don't get nothing to distract them between regular working hours. They are on this. If they have to do anything else, it's after the hours if it's feasible. If not, then I have to do it myself because I don't. There's no point. I want them distracted from helping you. It does me no good, and you are paying us to do this job, and that's exactly what we stay focused on. Now, this division of labor is what gives our carriers a true competitive edge. No dispatcher is overwhelmed, which they get burnt out too because you're looking at boards, and you get a team working together like a well-oiled machine. Is it well-oiled? Yeah, it's pretty good, but it's not. It's like you're talking about humans. So some days even we have an issue here or there where, for example, you got people doing something for a driver and the other guy's doing the same thing. Like if you need a fuel stop or something like that. So that's the reason I make them put all the notes in the Telegram so the other people see what they're doing for you. So that we don't get our lines of communication crossed. And that's usually when that happens is because that particular dispatcher did not read his Telegram board. But as far as getting your freight and keeping everything moving smoothly, I normally don't see no major issues in that. So that's a great thing for you. When you get there and you've been screwed around because the dispatcher still ain't on the same page as you, that right here, we make sure that that's not going to happen. Less burnout. I told you about that. Everybody, not just for you, but for us too. Higher quality support. That's the whole point. We want you to have the support. You want to damn, I've never had this much help. That's the truth. And you know that we're right on it. You're not standing by waiting and waiting and waiting. So that's one of the best points about this. So you don't have got to worry about getting them or us getting stressed out, dealing with an overworked dispatcher that can't give you 100%, and they start barking because they're stressed, and then you start barking because you don't feel like dealing with that bullshit. It's not your problem, and it's not your problem. It's their responsibility to deal with their stress, and it's my responsibility to make sure that my team is not becoming overstressed. But I've had very little problem with this since we went to the 3 dispatchers for each truck. So, and with no more than 7 trucks, okay? It don't never go to 8. It stays at 7. It is very, very good. The profit's still there. It's not as good if, if I was doing it on my own, but I can't do it because I teach the classes. But everybody that's in part of the teams, Everybody seems to like it. If they don't like it, they have nobody spoke up. And I have meetings all the time. But anyways, just keep that in mind. Now, with our setup, our dispatchers have manageable workloads, so they're sharp, they're focused, and they're alert on you. Their concern is totally on you. Um, they're trained to handle specific situations, whether it's a breakdown, a cancellation, or a rate pushback. So that being that they're wanting to debate the rate. Um, so everybody trains under the same standards because I have a freight dispatcher school. Everybody's trained to the same standard. If you want to look and see how I train them, go to truckdrivernation.com and you can see the criteria. So there's nobody that comes in, even if you say I'm an experienced dispatcher, you have to pass a test to actually come on board with me as a freight dispatcher. There is no, oh, I've got 8 years. Here's my resume. I could give a shit. You're going to pass the test. If you don't pass the test, because all of mine are scenario based questions, if they can't pass that test, then they're not up to speed. And I'm not fixing to trust them, putting them with you, to making sure that your truck and your trailer actually make enough money. You feel like a priority, not an afterthought. If anybody makes you feel like an afterthought with what we do now, then you need to let me know because I need to pull them out. Try to retrain them one time. If after that, they got to go. I'm not here to raise grown men. Um, let's see what else. Obviously, you get a team, not just a single dispatcher. So you're not hiring just a dispatcher. You're getting an entire team behind you as an owner operator, and the team obviously tracks your truck movements, keeps your booked in advance. If you choose, you want to go and be pre-planned, maximizes your hours so you're not just sitting. So we got like if you got an appointment time, they're right on it, trying to negotiate that thing. If that broker allows it. Now, if it's a direct shipper, it's easier for us to do it because we have direct contact with the direct shipper. But when you're dealing with brokers, you have to kind of stand by and wait on their stuff. But sometimes you have to keep playing with them on the time schedule about getting you there or whatever. So that they won't let up until they're done. Like I tell them, that, you have to multitask, but don't bounce so hard that you're not getting the job done correctly because you have two other people on your telegram as a dispatcher that they can talk to and say, hey, man, I need help with this, and reach out. I don't want people micromanaging as far as my dispatching. They have to work as a team. If they're not a team player, then they can't be in my company. Um, minimizes deadhead. Absolutely. That's our number one goal is to get you down to zero on deadhead. It's not going to happen. 5 to 15%, somewhere in there. If we get up past 15% or even work actually past 10%, I kind of red flag it. What the hell's going on? So I do watch these things to ensure that your truck is moving effectively and efficiently and communicates like a freight control tower, really, keeping your business flying smooth. So like I said, um, like a flight control tower at an airport, we're all looking at the same monitors. We're looking at the same aircraft, which are your trucks on the road, making sure that we're routing them correctly and that the money is there for your route. We don't want to have to cancel no loads. We want to make sure that we're getting the best freight ahead of time, and not just negotiating for whatever's there to say, hey, here we got you a load. We're sending it through now. That don't work because you gave us your standards. You told us what we have to do, and that's our objective is to honor your wishes. Now, you're a business, obviously, and you deserve to be treated like one with the respect, the dignity as a truck driver as you do it. If any of my people start getting howdy or haughty, you know what I mean, like puffed up, let me know. You know, now obviously it's a two-way street, so I have to listen to both sides. But I understand you get stressed out there on the road. I totally get it. But just give me a call. Everybody can give me a call. I may not be able to answer immediately because I get in the middle of stuff, but I promise you, I will call you back that day when it comes to my my trucks, because that's where I make my revenue. I do the school and I train them up, but bulk of what I make is actually from dispatching truck drivers, and I don't need a bad name on my company. Now, why this model works so well, owner operators who work with us have seen one, they've seen higher gross revenue per week. Absolutely. Like I tell people, if some reason your gross revenue doesn't exceed what you've been dealing with, then you're going to get that week for free. But I know the difference between somebody trying to bullshit me and then actually what freight pays. So I look at that. The one thing I won't deal with is deal with a liar. You can take that for what you are. If you feel guilty and that stresses you out on this, because I'll fire my own people for lying. Um, But anyways, less stress because they're not chasing dispatches or worrying about where their next load is. That's a total benefit to you. We're communicating with you. We're on top of it. You're not definitely not an afterthought. We are on top of the situation, um, and we want to hear what you got to say. If you know something we don't, share it with us. We're not wanting you to dispatch your truck, but we're also not idiots. We know when to shut up and listen to you. More consistent freights. So that's basically, that's going to be basically because of the broker trust and the repeated lanes. If you stay in a lane, that we can build those lanes for you. And the more you allow us to build a lane for you, the more we're going to bring your gross revenue up. Bouncing all over the planet, absolutely we can do it, but I'm telling you, you're hurting your actual income. But 100%, we can get you everywhere you want to be. If you just want to be a rolling stone, then we can run you all over the United States. Excuse me 1 second. All right. So sorry about that. Thought I had to sneeze. But anyways, the overall final word. So, so if you're tired of getting ignored, you getting stuck with low paying lows and your dispatcher, it just seems like they're always scrambling around to get their head out of their ass, then it's your choice whether you're going to make a change. But, I would say get in contact with me. Let's discuss your problems. What you finding inside your bank of why my truck isn't making the money. Now, obviously, if you're having a lot of breakdowns, we'll have to figure out how to get that handled. I'm not saying that you're not taking care of your trucks, but I've had trucks. I was like, God, I got to get rid of this damn truck. It bitch is just bad luck, but I get it. So, but obviously, we need trucks that are going to be workable because if you really know how to run the miles and you want us to push your ability and run your 70 hours out every week, or if you're a team, whichever way, then let us know. But we're not trying to be like everyone else. I don't want to get the same feedback. Well, I ain't doing no better than when I was doing with da 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 da. That's not what I want to hear. So my people are there to prevent that. And to given this market, you've got to have a lot more ears to the ground. That's the whole point behind us changing this, because we have to fight harder. Now if you stay in a direct route, once we start building your direct route up, then it'll kind of absorb in on itself, and you'll start building up instead of just playing checkers. We're now playing chess where we're strategically having your pickups and drop offs based on those time schedules that it starts to color the coloring book. Now you got a better looking picture about what your truck is doing and what you're doing, and you can actually settle your mind down that I know I got this, I'm good here, this is what I'm going to look at this week, and you got a steady income. But I mean, I don't know any other way to put it, that we've pushed it to the limit, to be able to maximize what we've been doing for our owner operators. But this definitely has changed the game and overall gross revenues in a hard market. But anyways, so now obviously we're here to redefine what dispatching can look like when it's done right. It's not a matter of making it any change in dispatching itself. We're just making the overall outcome better. And that's what it's all about anyways. The personal relationship, absolutely, how it is. We all end up building personal relationships with people in the field of dispatching, but we know you need to see the bottom line. Okay. I mean, you'll be more than willing to talk to us if you got great money coming in, because okay, this is good. But if we're not producing for you, then it's just talking a bunch of shit. So that's the whole thing. But anyways, obviously get a hold of Truck Driver Nation. Go to the website, truckdrivernation.com. You can see what all we do. We do recruit truckers. We do have a dispatch training course, but we provide a freight dispatching service that obviously we load trucks. So, but anyways, if you need to talk to me, just call Maria and we'll set up a meeting and go over it. And don't be shy. Hit me with the hard questions. And because I'm not going to shy away. There ain't one answer I really don't have because I know how we handle things. But I'd like the opportunity that you give us a shot at loading your truck. If you got multiple trucks, give us one truck. Give us a second, to get your freight up and going, because, we want you coming out the gate. Obviously, we're going to start immediate load boards, but once we know, if you got a company driver, however you want to do, once we got the profile on it and we get it between us, me and my team, whoever's going to be in whichever team that's going to be handling you as your dispatch team, then we got it. Okay. But anyways, I hope that helps as well. If you need to send emails, support@truckdrivernation.com. and we'll start from there. You'll probably talk to Maria. You know, she does dispatching and she handles paperwork, but tell her you just need to talk to me because sometimes I'm teaching a student or whatever it is. That's the reason. Another reason we have dispatch service with all the extra people, because I don't do, now don't get me wrong, I need to clear something. I don't do classes. Okay. My dispatch course is a self-paced class. So when I'm saying I'm teaching somebody, that means somebody has some questions for me because they're kind of hung up. Like if they're hung up on how carrier packets work, what a limited power of attorney and all that stuff. So I help them understand. So I don't want you to think that we're taking away from our service as a dispatch service to do a school. We don't do classroom time. It's literally one-on-one. I get them trained, and since the majority of the people that I train are actual truckers, I usually get them trained within 2 to 3 weeks. So it's just to get them off the truck, get them to dispatching, so they no longer have to drive trucks because some people are just tired of driving trucks. Um, but remember, if you're a owner operator and you want to build your fleet, let us know because we actually get you drivers and we don't charge nothing for them. As long as we're going to be the ones that are going to be dispatching that truck. But anyways, I appreciate your time. I hope this helped. If you have any other questions or concerns, let us know so we can address those and keep it moving forward. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.